Okay, so it seems like Wuthering Waves is getting even more recognized for some of their achievements for this year and also last year whenever they released, with them actually being nominated for another award, which we're going to get into in this video and talk about why this is so important and why people should actually care about this award quite a bit, as well as some other achievements and some kind of like data from some other regions proving that Wuthering Waves is actually doing really good, especially over on the PS5 version, which just hints at a very successful future for the game. But before I get into this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you guys do enjoy it, and also go to GameStop, use my code KAZA where you can get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs, because again, they got a really cool flavor at the moment, which I definitely recommend you guys go try out. So yeah, go over there, use code KAZA, and you get 10% off. But let's get back into the video. So pretty much I saw this post on Twitter at some point saying that Wuthering Waves has actually been nominated for a DICE award. Now, this is the 28th DICE award, and if we actually scroll down here on the website, you can see that they've been nominated for one of the awards, which obviously is Mobile Game of the Year. Now, obviously, a lot of people are going to be very worried because of the matchup here. I'll just like move it above my head. You can see the matchup is Balatro, which if you don't know, Balatro actually won Mobile Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And then also we got Halls of Torment, Monument Valley 3, I've never even heard of that, Paper Trail, and also Wuthering Waves. So again, a pretty cool lineup. Now, obviously, yeah, people are very worried about Balatro because Wuthering Waves are actually nominated for the Mobile Game of the Year in the Game Awards as well, which is a another really big award, and they actually lost out as Balatro won this, and Balatro did have a very good year as well. So a lot of people are worried that we might not win it, but the difference between the DICE awards and stuff like the Game Awards is that this is actually the equivalent to like an Academy Award, which I did do a little bit of research on Wikipedia here, and they say that the DICE Awards, formerly known as the Interactive Achievement Awards, is an annual award show in the video games industry and commonly referred to as a video game equivalent of the Academy Awards, which, if you don't know what the Academy Awards are, it's the Oscars. The Oscars are pretty prestigious, and I'm pretty sure it's voted by a lot of like Academy members, so I feel like this is going to be the same way, where it's going to be voted by people who know what they're talking about, who know what a good game is, and I feel like Wuthering Waves does stand a very good chance here, because again, all of these games are very good, but I feel like Wuthering Waves has definitely gone above and beyond, especially with Rinascita as well, which I hope that they do kind of bring into account, because if we think back to some of the Game Awards stuff, and also some other awards, Rinascita and version 2.0 wasn't even considered as part of the actual, game or anything like that, because it hadn't been released yet. But I feel like with the release of Rinascita, it boosts Wuthering Waves up way more in terms of player satisfaction and the overall popularity of the game, which I think gives it much more of a chance, and I feel like this is actually one worth winning. It's not one for like all the glory and things. You got the Game Awards, you got like the Gaming on Phone Awards, things like that, which are for like almost like the glory and just bragging rights. So just like, oh yeah, I won that, by the way. Whereas I feel like the DICE Awards is more like of an in-depth look at what is actually the best game, not just like some kind of like, oh, the players voted for 10% and we had some judges choose because half of them are execs on PlayStation board. Whereas this actually seems like they've actually gone through and picked what the best game is, and I feel like Wuthering Waves being a very good contender will help itself out there. So again, that's very good, and I hope to hear that, we come back with a win. Obviously, there's a ton of really cool games on this website overall, and in terms of just being nominated, obviously you got like Metaphor, Fantasia, Elden Ring, all the ones that we did see featured at the Game Awards as well, which is really good to see. And it's good to see that Wuthering Waves is actually being mentioned alongside these, because obviously for a gacha game, that's a hard thing to do. You don't see many gacha games being nominated for these kind of awards. Obviously, Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Zelda Zone Zero are a little bit of a kind of outlier, because it's Hoyoverse. Hoyoverse have actually managed to grow the game that big, and it feels like Wuthering Waves is finally getting to a close kind of point. Obviously, they're never going to be as big as Genshin. They had a big kind of COVID buff and everything like that, which helped them out a ton. But I feel like Wuthering Waves is at the point where it's getting recognized by people outside of the gacha space, including people in this video game industry, and it's going to help them out in terms of awards. Now, it is interesting to see Zelda Zero isn't here. As much as I glaze Wuthering Waves and stuff like that, I do feel like Zelda Zero does deserve a spot, but apparently they didn't consider it for this year. Maybe they've got a thing against Hoyoverse or something like that. But again, it is very surprising, because they were nominated in the Game Awards one, which, yeah, but it's not there. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see if it's nominated for anything else, but I don't think it is. I had a look through his website, but yeah, that's kind of crazy. But Wuthering Waves being there is great. Now, obviously, if you go over to this post as well, I saw this post saying Wuthering Waves has been rapidly growing in the JP market, gaining 60,000 followers and steadily ranking to number 2 in PS5 sales for 9 consecutive days. Moreover, the official subreddit has reached an all-time high, ranking number 18. The previous was number 22 to 23. Now, obviously, this is a picture of the Wuthering Waves Twitter. Now, obviously, Wuthering Waves has been growing so much in Japan. As I said, they've had a few issues in Korea and places like that with mistranslation, but it seems like in Japan, it does seem to be a little bit better. Not perfect. I talked to Ryuki-san saying he thought that, it wasn't like perfect, but it's not, absolutely terrible. So again, it seems like, Wuthering Waves is doing really good in Japan, especially with the advertising too, because recently they had a whole live stream where they talked to some of the voice actors in Rinascita, including, Carlotta's voice actor and some other ones, and where they just did some like games, talked and stuff, like a typical like Japanese show, and I thought it was really cool. Again, obviously I had no idea what was going on, and I had to, again, watch Ryuku's stream to it because he was translating everything, but it did seem like a really cool fun time, and it seems like a lot of the Japanese audience did like that because they went around, played the game, everything like that, and it seems like they are trying to boost a lot of their kind of advertising and marketing in the East, which is really good to see. Now obviously I do wish this happened over in the West a little bit more, because I feel like we could get a lot more Western players if they did that, just like a little bit more of a push, like Hoyoverse have been doing as well, especially if, as they said, they wanted it to be a global game. I feel like they do need to push that Western kind of market as well, but hey, we'll have to wait and see. Now obviously we can keep going, and we can see that Narushio version 2.0 opening is literally second place beneath Genshin Impact, which again is a massive deal. I feel like being right beside Genshin Impact on all PS5 games on the Japanese market is really good to see, and it's above games like Apex. Now obviously I know Apex is falling off at the moment, but again, it just proves how big this game is at the moment, and it proves how well they've been doing with the Rinascita update. And then obviously this is the Reddit. The Reddit is actually a really good place. I've been over there a couple of times. It's really good for just finding out different stories. People have a ton of really cool posts over there, which pretty much is a mix of memes, gameplay, and also news, which really helps me out whenever I research for a video to actually make. And I feel like, the Wuthering Waves subreddit is growing as well, and maybe that's to do with Japan. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's like the Japanese one. I feel like that's just a in general one. And also they put, additionally, Wuthering Waves has accumulated 8.3 thousand ratings on PS5, and it's growing faster than ZZZ. And then they say this further proves that most mobile players have swapped to PS5, which I don't think is the case. I feel like that's a weird thing to say there, saying that most people have swapped from mobile to PS5. I just feel like there's a lot of people just waiting for PS5 in general, and that just didn't have anything. They didn't have a mobile kind of version. Maybe the mobile isn't good enough. Now, obviously, there are some people who did swap from mobile to PS5 to experience that more high quality gameplay, but I don't think everyone, switched over from mobile to PS5, and that's the reason why we're seeing a massive boost. No, I don't think that's the case at all. I feel like people were just excited in general, and also let's not forget, the Japanese audience do love using PlayStation products and things like that, which is really cool. So that means you're going to get a big boost from them whenever it comes to releasing it on PS5, because they all want to play the game as well. So again, I wouldn't say that it was like mobile players going over to PS5. I would just say it's people excited for PS5 in general, no matter what kind of platform they're on previously. But it is really good to see that Wuthering Waves is succeeding so much, and also being at the top of this kind of page. I've said this many times with the PS5 version. It's really good, because obviously people who don't know anything about Wuthering Waves, don't know anything about gacha games, are going to get seen on this page because they're going to be at second place, just below Genshin Impact. The same how Genshin Impact has a ton of people playing their game who don't necessarily, play like a million gacha games, or are, necessarily involved in the gacha community that much, but they play Genshin Impact because, it was a free game that they saw and they ended up enjoying it. Well, the same could be said for Wuthering Waves, obviously it being in second place, and being at that top spot just puts them in like more eye view, so people will see it more, people will get interested more, and obviously it's a new game which they haven't seen at that spot, so people are going to try it out, and especially because it's free and everything like that. Well, it's free to play the game, but if you want to go and swipe and stuff, maybe it's a different story. But again, it is really cool that it is getting that kind of recognition, and people are able to click on it very easily. And as I said, we've all been at that one stage where we're scrolling through the PS Store and just kind of scrolling through free games, and now Wuthering Waves is going to be one of the top ones that are there, which is going to entice a lot more players to come over, which means more revenue, which means more success, which means, everything's going to go good for Wuthering Waves. So again, really cool. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this video. Obviously, the things that have happened, number 2 on the PS5 ranking, and also 28th annual DICE Awards, which again looks really cool. Hopefully Wuthering Waves win this, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated if anything happens with this, because again, it is the Battle of Balatro again. Maybe, Balatro is going to take it home, but I really hope not. I feel like Wuthering Waves really does deserve it this time, especially version 2.0. Before with version 1.0, it was pretty good, and obviously I'm going to be a little bit biased, but I feel like version 2.0 and Rinascita just takes home the cake. Like in this one, I feel like they've actually kind of improved a ton, and I feel like it does compete, and it's even better than Balatro because, you know, it's just a really well made update. So hopefully that does help them in terms of the voting and everything like that, because again, it's just such a good update, and I hope that, you know, it does get included in the kind of voting process. But hey, we'll have to wait and see what happens, and yeah, as I said, I'll keep you guys updated. But if you guys did enjoy this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and comment down below who you think is going to win this award. Obviously, you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to think Wuthering Waves, but maybe you got another kind of choice here. Maybe you played some of these other mobile games which are out at the moment, which again, will be very interesting. But yeah, go to game service, use my code KAZA, get 10% off, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.